Hi guys, I'm Sam. We're Ghana bound, and today I have Mr. Shark Island himself, Marvin, all the way over from the States. Or are we leaving that out now? Because you're, by de facto, you're a Ghanaian.
I'm a Ghanaian. I've been here 4 years. I'm married to a Ghanaian. I have a Ghanaian baby, so I'm Ghanaian, Charlie.
There you go. Where did you come from, Mr. Marvin?
I was born in Guyana, South America, but I moved here from North Carolina by way of New York City. I grew up in New York, joined the military, lived all over, but ended up living in North Carolina last, and then I moved here from North Carolina.
So you're sitting in North Carolina and you think, you know what? I'm going to go over to Ghana and build an island and just live my best life. How?
No, that's not how it happened. I'm living in North Carolina. I have a contract with Amazon, transporting their products to and from people who purchase it online. And then they ended up replicating my whole business model, putting me out of business, costing me a lot of money. And my operations manager was like, Marvin, you need to go to Ghana. Like, get up, dust yourself off, and go to Africa. And I was like, man, I'm not going to Africa. I don't know nobody in Africa. Never been to Africa. Never thought about going to Africa. Miss me with the BS. I'm about to sue Amazon.
Right.
And tried that. That didn't fare too well.
Uh-oh.
You know, they got powerful law firms in every state, so they monopolized the market. And then, you know, I just said, you know, my back was against the wall and I needed something, and an opportunity came through my operations manager.
Right.
He set up a meeting here with a lawyer, took me around, and I had to say, okay, let me just go and see what it is. Because I really had no other option at the time, right? So that's how I ended up coming.
So you came through the advice of a colleague? Mm-hmm. He said, get over here. And what were you coming to do?
So he thought that the technology that Amazon had copied from me, that, you know, it would be beneficial in Africa, right? And Africa is the overlooked stepchild of everybody. So he said, bro, like, you're black, they would love this here, and Ghana's forward thinking. It's a safe African country. He used to come here for a lot of business seminars. So he was telling me about Zoomline, all these companies I didn't know about, and that's how I ended up getting here.
Was he a Ghanaian himself?
No, he was African American.
Okay, so he had a good experience of Ghana and saying, hey, you're missing out, right?
Yeah, Exim Bank had seminars, and he would come with all of those things. So that's how he knew about it, and he introduced it to me.
So it all went fine then?
You out of your mind? Nothing goes fine when you come to Ghana. But I don't care. I still loved it. Listen, when I got off the plane and I saw them selling a chaudier, right? I learned it now because it's my favorite thing, sugar cane. It reminded me of my country. Like, I used to eat sugar cane, peel it with my teeth in Guyana. Then I saw them selling plantain chips. It reminded me of a kid selling plantain chips in the streets of Guyana with my father and my grandmother. And it was so nostalgic for me that I fell in love with Ghana. But the company that bought me here, I eventually did end up signing a contract with a church that, you know, screwed me over. And, you know, but people have told me you got to get, you know, you got to go through your Ghana orientation. So I went through my orientation, and despite the challenges, I never wanted to leave. People would tell me, you're going to leave, you should leave. And I was like, no, like, the weather's amazing. Why would I do that? And then now I got this island, which was my retirement goal. I thought I was going to achieve it 8, 10, 12 years down the line, and I was able to do it here in Ghana in a year and a half.
So it seems to be a recurring topic. You took some lumps, you scraped some bruises. Mm-hmm. I think that might be putting it mildly, right?
Yes, very mild.
But you're still here. Why?
Because the opportunities are here. Because I'm not a nigger here, right? Because I don't get harassed by the police. Well, I do get stopped by the police, but the police do such a good job at keeping you safe here. People call it bribery. I call it making sure that they have something to drink, something to eat
a cool
while
drink,
they're out making Ghana safe. But no, the police, you know, they could be a nuisance sometimes with the chop money, but you know, they're doing a good job of keeping Ghana safe. That's why Ghana is one of the safest African countries. But those are some of the things that, you know, it took a while for me to adjust to. But when I compare it to being stopped in America and getting, you know, beat up, assaulted, possibly killed, you know, the challenges here are not as bad as the challenges there.
So let's find out a little bit more about you. So you grew up in the Bronx?
Yeah, Bronx, New York.
How was it living or growing up in the Bronx? This the real, you know?
No, the Bronx is the wild, wild west. So you know what they say about New York. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. And, you know, you got hoods everywhere, right? But the South Bronx is the hood. It's just blacks and Hispanics there for the most part, right? And you know, it's a challenge. New York is aggressive. It's a fight to get to the train station. So, but that's one of the best things that happened to me because of that. You know, upbringing. I'm able to make it in Ghana.
Right.
Like Ghana is like okay, it's like anywhere else.
Would you have any tips for anybody coming over from the Bronx? What would you tell yourself?
I would tell a younger Marvin that you need to get to Africa much sooner.
Wow.
I wish I would have got here earlier, right? 2, don't be scared, right? It's like anywhere else you go, you're gonna learn that place. It takes time, right? So give yourself time, but be open to new experiences, right? And don't let your fear determine whether or not you take action, right? It's okay to be scared, right? I was nervous as a grown man. You know, getting here, the deal not working out, having to live on 560 Ghana CDs a month, it was challenging, but it teaches you how to live within your means, right? Assess the terrain, and then find a solution in every problem. See, most people experience the problem and then they get frustrated, they give up. But when problems are put before you, it's so that you could use your brain, right? We ask God for wisdom all the time. God give us problems to solve, and we get frustrated.
Instead of taking the wisdom.
Yeah, you solve the problems. That's why we have 3 pounds of spongy material between our ears called the brain. So all I did was I looked at the challenges that I was experiencing and say, how can I make this easier for somebody else who's transitioning? So those would be my words to a younger Marvin. Get to Africa much sooner.
So how long did it take from Shark Island being an idea to now sitting on your island by your man-made beach?
That's a good question. So like I said, when I first came here, it was to do business with daycare, with a church that had several hospitals. And then that didn't work out. I learned the meaning of Ghana man time, wasting your time and costing you a lot of money. And then when that didn't work out, I still launched daycare without the church. And you know, people wasn't really as receptive locally to the medical service. And not because it wasn't a great idea, because the average Ghanaian makes about 600 to 800 Ghana CDs a month. So they don't have any discretionary income. That money is used for transportation and food, right? So what I had to do is pivot my business and target Ghanaians outside to use our app to send healthcare services to their family here. So once, you know, I encountered a roadblock, I just looked at the problem, looked at how I could come up with a solution. And then while I was doing that, I said, you know what, I'm putting all this money into daycare. It's not growing as fast as I would like. You know, I was always looking at land to buy. I got some of that free land in Cape Coast that they're giving out.
How did that go? You still have it, right?
I still have it. You know, like, so I built the fence wall around the private homeland that I got. And then I bought all this land for the medical center. But what I found, they was giving one person an indenture that said, you own the land, is free. Then they was giving me and other people indentures that said, you got to pay rent. And I said, no, y'all got to fix this language, because what it says here is what is, you know, I'm going to be held to and you guys are going to be held to.
And your children.
I couldn't get that fixed. So then I started looking for land elsewhere.
Right.
And I had the young lady who does a lot of my training of my employees, Yvonne, she had mentioned Ada, and she showed me pictures of her dad's riverfront property out here, and I was blown away. It looked peaceful, looked beautiful.
Yeah.
And I started coming to Ada. But this land, it took me 1.5 years, almost 2 years to go through the negotiations, because I had saw people who bought land, got scammed, and I wasn't going to lose another CD in Ghana.
Right.
My patience was very small, and I just was like, I'm going to take my time with this, but I wanted to do it the right way. So I made sure that I got to know the family I was buying the land from. I made sure I came to the land, I entered the land, I was cutting down trees, so if anybody had anything to say, the skeletons, as they call it, would pop up. And then we set benchmarks to where I owned it. And it took 2 years. And I told them, I said, look, if you rush me, deal is off. I need to feel comfortable. And they respectfully enough, you know, took that journey with me.
Where did you learn those tricks? Because not everybody coming in will know that, oh, I need to at least chop a tree to see who's coming out. Where did you get that from?
Like I said, you know, when content creators like you guys interview people like me, I was watching other diasporans,
Right.
their horror stories, what they went through, those who did it right, what they were doing. And it was even on your channel. My attorney, Emmanuel, I got him from watching you. He does real estate. And he helped me with one of the key components of my land, but is watching content creators like you and listening to other diasporans who's made the transition. What were their challenges? What was the things that helped them be successful? And that's what helped me out.
Oh, that's so awesome. But we really believe that we should be the purveyors of our own narrative, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Because
you know?
I don't know how it was in the States, but in the 80s growing up in England, all we got was pictures of fat bellies and flies, and it just wasn't cool being Africa. There was nothing.
So it must have been the United States of England, because that's the same thing.
The same thing that you got there, right?
And that's why I didn't want to come to Africa at first. I was like, there's nothing here. Then I come here, I see this nice airport, Kotoka International, more modern than any other airport I've seen, you know, or just as modern in the US. And I'm like, wait, hold up. Then I see Burger King, I see big high-rise towers, and it's not what I thought Africa would be. I'm ashamed to say it, but I thought I would come, you'd see a dirt landing strip, you know,
Yeah.
people still in nothing but kente cloth, but you know, people got the latest designers. I done saw Bentleys, Lamborghinis on
G-Wagons, right?
These East Legon streets, you know.
G-Wagons like
they-
taxis, it's crazy.
They balling out here. And what I learned is, and I love and I respect Africans for this, Africans live debt free. Like if you see an African with a car, a house, they own it.
Yeah.
An iPhone, they own it. And those are great principles to live your life by that I see here. So, you know, I love it.
I mean, it's not easy, and I hate it when people say, oh man, you're so lucky, because that luck, can you imagine? I'm sure luck was not involved in this Shark Island development at all.
Not at all. You know, at the end of the day, Sam, what you got to do is, you know, I tried to sell one of my properties to my cousin, and she was like, no. I said, no, I have all the paperwork. Like, I have the title, the indenture. She's like, yeah, many people here got the indenture. And she's right. People do sell land over and over to other people, but there's a lot of people who did it right. And again, watching content creators like you guys interview other diasporans helped me to learn the right things to do and speaking with the right counsel to do it, right?
Fantastic.
So there's a lot of people who did it right, and I just follow those people, right? And get it done right, because I don't want to make the mistakes. People who did it wrong could be used as a tool as to what not to do.
Of what not to do.
Yeah.
Okay, we're drawing to the end of this interview.
Yeah.
What I like to do at the end, I start a sentence. There's two sentences. The first one is, do come to Ghana if.
Do come to Ghana if you want to live free.
Nice, nice. Second one is the opposite of that. Don't come to Ghana if.
Don't come to Ghana if your patience level is not too good. Ghana is a very young developing country, and things don't work like they do where you're from in more developed countries. But it's worth it if you could be patient and you learn from your mistakes and others' mistakes, right? But you shouldn't come here if you have a quitter's mentality, right? Not even if you're patient. If you have a quitter's mentality, quitters never win and winners never quit. So that's what I would say. Don't come to Ghana if you're a quitter.
Nice one. Thanks again.
Yeah.
So if you didn't get it at the beginning of the video, this is Mr. Shark Island. He has his own island. He came over from the States, took his lumps and scrapes and bruises, and he has this fantastic development, Shark Island. It's on our website, www.ghanabound.com. So if you didn't get it at the top of the episode, this is Mr. Shark Island himself. He came over from the Bronx, took his lumps and bruises, and has come out the other side with an island in Ada that you can invest in. Okay? You can check up on it from your palm of your laptop, your phone, wherever you are currently, and get that passive income before you come over to Ghana yourself. He's thought of everything. Have a look at the other video that we made all about Shark Island, and if you haven't done so already on this episode, hit that like, share or subscribe button in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the family, and see you on the next one. Bye. Nice, huh?